6 months, I think, at that point, and we didn't even know anybody watched the thing. I had no clue. And then from that day on, we kind of knew it was popular. So it was really fun. It was kind of a surreal experience, doing it, to just all of a sudden go from just doing normal movies to something that was the biggest thing on the planet at the time. You know what I mean? You couldn't even get toys or whatever. So I had a ball, but it's TV, so you shoot the same. I used to shoot 3 episodes at one time. So if we shot let's say the schoolroom, we'd do 3 episodes, the next 3 episodes in that schoolroom. So we'd do one scene, have the kids go get dressed for the second episode, and so on and so on. So after a while, it got kind of, how many ways could you shoot a room? You know what I mean? It got kind of old, not getting be creative a lot, because it's only so much you can do, But I'm definitely glad I was a part of it, and I thank my friend Ronnie Hadar, who produced the show, to bring me in, because I had directed a movie for him, So when he decided to do it, he wanted to get a director in there that had experience directing movies and not television. They wanted to get that little aspect to it, instead of just a master and a two-shot. They want to get some Steadicam moves and some, dolly in, zooms out, those kind of things, not just the normal TV stuff. But I had a ball doing it.
Yeah, it's a the good news is that you got a regular schedule. On a movie set, you don't know where your next job's going to be, or what kind of things will happen on set or whatever. But on the flip side, you don't have as much creativity, and being able to have a little bit bigger of a budget to be able to what you want to do. So I can see both sides of it. Right. Maddie, were you a fan of Power Rangers back then?
I definitely was. I was a little young to start watching it when it first came out, but I definitely caught on to some of the later episodes and loved it.
Yeah, it's still, like I said, it's still having so much of an impression nowadays. Just to think of how long it's been since it first premiered here in the U.S. I still got
still going, isn't it? New Zealand, are they still filming it?
Yeah, they came out with 2 movies. Quite a few movies actually. Actually, I think Bryan Cranston actually owns the rights to do the movies now. I think that last movie he was the producer on it. Yeah.
Wow.
There's been some modern movies of it as well. So I won't be surprised if that ends up becoming more of a thing again. But I have friends, like I said, that are huge fans. I've got MMA fighters that dress up like Power Rangers at weigh-ins. So yeah, it's still pretty popular. So, but yeah, John, like I said, it's really great to be able to see, how did that transition come over from being a stuntman and an actor to a director?
Well, back in the 80s, we're doing a lot of HBO movies, and the directors at the time they were hiring didn't know how to really direct action at all. So I ended up directing a lot of the car chases and a lot of the action stuff. And it got to the point where I was directing most of the movie, because most of those were action movies back in, the days of video stores, when they were just making a ton of movies. And so I had done a lot of second unit directing. And then one day I got hurt, and I was just healing in my wheelchair, sitting outside of my house writing a script. My neighbor comes by and asked me what I was doing, and I told him I was writing my first script, and I wanted to direct it. And make a long story short, he went and got the money, and we went and made the movie. And in fact, that was Action USA that we were talking about earlier. And that started my directing career. And then from the screening of that movie, I met Ronnie Hadar, who was actually at the screening, and he come up and asked me to direct his movie. Basically, I got hired right from the screening of that one. And then just kind of like it went from directing to directing, and I'm like, well, shit, I can't do stunts anymore. And I was really having a good time doing this stuff, you know what I mean? So I never planned on it. I didn't want to be a director for sure. I never entered my mind. It just kind of happened, I was given that responsibility. I remember I was flying over to Yugoslavia, I think it was, or Czechoslovakia, I forget. And I was only supposed to direct a second unit car chase. I was supposed to be there a week. And this movie had everything in it. It was a stuntman's dream. It had sword fights. It was one of the Merlins, it had everything in it. Modern day and olden times and horses and castles and explosions and car chases. I'm like, damn, I should be directing this movie. It'd be perfect for me, So I got over there, and I filmed for a week, and I did my car chase, and we're in the editing room. And this is a true story. So they got done watching the footage, and the director, Paul Hunt, stands up and he goes, "I'm going back to England, John, take over the movie." With no prep or no nothing, I took over directing that movie. Literally, I was there another 6 months on a project. He went back to England.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy to say the least. And yeah, we're mentioning Action USA. You guys just released a new uncensored trailer because of the re-release. We're going, several different places are going to be putting it out again, which is very exciting for you. I'm pretty sure a lot of action fans are going to be interested in seeing it once again as well. So congratulations on that.
Well, thanks.
So I'm very interested in seeing it as well. I haven't yet to see it, but it'll be on demand and everywhere pretty much coming up in the next couple weeks as well. So definitely everybody check that out. Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting. Just working with actors, some of the actors that you've worked with for some of Hollywood's A-list right now. How is it working with some of the actors and coming in from a stunt kind of coordination, situation to directing, and now, directing some of the most talented actors in Hollywood?
Like I say, I pretty much, I got to direct Tony Curtis once in a movie, and to me, he was a legend, obviously. I worked with Jamie Lee in one of the Halloweens, but her dad was, I couldn't believe it. I was a young kid directing him, and it was the reason I got hired to direct him because he was actually, it was another guy's movie, it was another director's movie, and he was having a conflict with Tony. He said, "You got to come help me out, direct rest of Tony's scenes because we're not getting along." And the other guy, I won't mention his name, but he was in the movie also. So I had come to the set, and he had kind of the reputation where he wasn't in a very good mood, and we were shooting out in the desert and stuff. So I just treated him nice. I treat these actors normal. Like for some reason, stunt people and actors get along. They don't kiss anybody's ass. There's none of that bullshit where they know us as regular people. We're there to make them look good. You know what I mean? So we get along. Just actors get along great with some people for some reason. But Tony was the type of guy where I remember if it was hot, he could stay in a honey wagon in his dressing room, stay cool, and I'd bring him out. Just when I needed him, I'd use a double for stand in for lighting and stuff. So I treated him with respect, And I remember we're doing a couple of days in, he did a scene where I just wanted him to do it different. And I'm thinking to myself, because I knew his reputation, am I actually going to tell Tony Curtis how to do it a different way? This could be bad, end up really bad for me. And I said, Tony, why don't you try it this way? And he kind of stopped and paused. And I remember the crew just like stopped what they were doing, walking, and they kind of looked like, oh shit, he's in trouble. So Tony looks at me, he goes, "Okay, kid, I'll try it your way." And then it went great. From the rest of the movie, it went great. So he was fun to work with. And, Jan Michael Vincent, he was a hero of mine. He had some issues at the time, and I worked with him, and he was on his best behavior. So you definitely have to be a psychologist to work with some of these people, work with Sharon Dottie from 90210, and everybody's different, So it can be interesting. I think directors should be psychologists for sure.
We'll be back with John and Maddie right after this.
Yeah, Maddie, by the way, I mean, you said that you were in the musical theater and acting and all that as well. I mean, tell me a little bit about your acting prowess and what you were doing, tell me a little bit about your career.
Sure thing. So like I told you, I started doing community theater pretty young down here in South Florida, and I went to magnet schools here as well. So I got a classical professional acting training starting at age 10 through 17. So that was quite an experience. I felt like I got plenty of acting training. So in college, I pursued something different, but actually got really into Shakespearean acting. So I was doing Shakespeare performances in my late teens, early 20s. One of my favorite roles, I did Ophelia, which I loved. And definitely my favorite part was scaring my parents because they were worried about me after the performance since I was so into that character. And after college, I did think I wanted to pursue acting. I went to New York and did a couple of auditions, film, TV, NBC Live musicals, and got pretty far in the audition process, but don't have any credits to my name and kind of decided maybe I should try music. I was doing cruise ship auditions, and then the Juliana project came along. So I've been really lucky. I didn't want to give up the dream as a young actress, as a young singer. It can be really challenging when you keep facing rejection, even though you're pretty confident in your skills. And so I feel really like it was serendipity that John and I were able to come together, and that he's been in this industry for so long, and now he's helping young artists start their career. I mean, you don't really hear of that nowadays, kind of this whole being discovered thing. So it feels really lucky and really special that John is wanting to help me and wanting to create this amazing band.
Yeah, I mean, John, just working with younger talent like Maddie, I mean, what does that mean to you? I mean, I'm pretty sure you've worked with younger actors on the set as well. I mean, what does that mean to you to kind of tender some advice and really work with some really creative young minds?
Yeah, they're all creative. She's great. She's like a natural talent, and rejection is part of the business. Whether you're music or acting or whatever, or directing, you're gonna hear a million no's for 1 year. So that's just part of the business. Don't take it personally. You know what I mean? So I like, I look for singers all the time because I can't sing, and my music's nothing without a singer. And when I came across her, I knew it was something special. I had to just get her to do it, to start writing. And we've been lucky because everybody that's heard the music or heard her voice has really loved it. So I knew it was special. I just wanted to get it out there for other people to hear, and she really does it herself. I mean, the rest will be history for her. I'm sure she'll go really far, whatever she wants.
Yeah, Maddie, what do you have to say about that?
I really appreciate it. I mean, I'm so
Maddie?
appreciative. Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me still? I think he's cutting out.
Okay. Are you there, Maddie?
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, cool. I supremely appreciate it, and I definitely agree that rejection is a part of the business, and I'm happy that I was able to continue to have the confidence to be in this industry, because it does knock you down a lot. And I am excited for the trajectory. I've never wanted to necessarily have the fame or the fortune in being a performer, being an actress, being a singer. For me, I just love doing it. It's my passion, and it's the one thing that makes me feel like I'm at my creative best, like I'm really alive and being present and being in the moment. And now that I'm a songwriter and working with John with the melodies, I'm learning that I have a lot to say as an artist, and there are a lot of things that I want to express and change people's lives. I think that that's something that music has the power to do, is you hear something and the music and the lyrics and the desire to dance can change the way that you approach life. And that's what I really want to do as an artist in general, is show people that there's so much to live for. We're in a dark time, especially now, and I've been through some difficult things even as a young person. And being positive and being in the moment and approaching life with a positive attitude, I think, is something that we all have to try hard to do. And so that's what I'm really wanting to do through the lyrics, and John's melodies definitely bring me there. So. Okay,
John, are you back?
Yeah, I never left.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason you froze, but you're back, I guess. Anyway,
I was just sitting still.
Yeah, I was going to ask a little bit about. I'd be remiss to ask about this because first of all, my friend's a huge fan of Halloween, and right now we are in Halloween season as well. You mentioned that you worked on Halloween. Is that correct?
I worked on, I think it was Halloween 3 or something, where Jamie was one of the producers. Just did some stunts on it.
Yeah, I mean, what was it like working the stunts on that? And horror film stunts, I think, are somewhat interesting as well. I mean, tell me a little bit about being on the set of Halloween.
Well, I really didn't do much in that. I was just kind of starting my career, so I didn't get to do any big gags in that horror film. But I've done a ton of others, Children of the Corn and Leprechaun and 976 Evil,